Hello everyone, I'm KHALID LODHI, BTech final year student. Today we are here to discuss about the DMA, which is Direct Memory Access IP, AXI IP, and in that we are going to discuss about the gather mode. First of all, we need to know why we require a DMA, Direct Memory Access. So if we have a CPU which is currently doing some process and it has to devote its time to transfer a huge number of data, so its cycle would be wastage of time. So instead of doing that, we use the DMA. So earlier, in case of a simple mode, there was a contiguous data transfer. But let's suppose the this data is not a contiguous; it is at different location. One is allocated here, and the one is allocated here, and you have to transfer it to the different locations. So what we do is we create the buffer descriptors. So buffer descriptors are like a linked list. So the processor does not provide directly these addresses. What it does is it write these data in the buffer descriptor. Thus now each buffer descriptor contains the details, the most important details such as address, the length and length of the data buffer, which will be required by the AXI DMA during the transfer, from the where the transfer has to be done and to where the transfer needs to be complete. So we define multiple buffer descriptors which has these information and which are linked with each other. So the tail of this is connected to the head of the next buffer descriptor, and similarly so on, and the last one is connected with the first one. And as earlier said, these buffer descriptors will require some storage where they are going to be stored. So either the DRAM or the DDR memory, or any other storage element can be used to store these buffer descriptors. Initially, all the BDs are added to the free group. Free group is like possible count that we can allocate for the BDs. Now at the next stage in the pre-process, processor allocates the BD from those free group with the help of relevant function, and this will reduce the count of the free count and will increase the count of pre count. At the hardware stage, the BDs are already be defined by the processor, and now it can be fetched by the AXI DMA. So AXI DMA fetch with the MAXI SG port and reads the data buffer relevant to the given BD. In post process, the after fetch and the process of the BD is done. That is, it can be updated by the processor or its status can be checked, and finally after checking the status we free the BD. Now to understand the BD, let's look at the BD fields. These fields are taken from the Xilinx user guide. You can see here each field is allocated the 32 bits to store the information. There are total 30, so there will be 13 into 32 bits to required to store a single BD. So we are currently using required only 8 address space for our project, and the first field corresponds to the pointer to which it points to the next PD. So in case of 64-bit address, this one is required, and in case of 32-bit address, currently it's not. Per address, that is from where my transaction has to be done or to where my transaction has to be done. So these next are reserved, and the 18H and 1CH correspond to the control and the status field. So now let us look at the status gather register address space. So this is also taken from the Xilinx document, and this is the screenshot from the SDK. So first of all, the DMACR register provides the control for the memory map to stream data channel, and the status register provides the status for the memory map to stream data channel, and this register provides the current descriptor pointer for the memory map to stream DMA, scatter description management. And similarly, this provides the tail descriptor pointer for the memory map to stream DMA, scatter description management. These two registers are used when the address space is greater than 32-bit size. And similarly, these status registers are for the memory map to stream, and these are status register for the stream to memory map. Now let us look at the design which we have implemented in the Vivado block diagram. So we have our Microblaze, and we have the DMA which is configured in the scatter gather mode. So as we mentioned that we require the BRAM or any storage element to store the BDs. So currently we don't have the access to the DDR RAM, so that's why we are using the BRAM to store the information about the BD rings. And this this DMA is connected with two peripherals which are acting like peripheral 1 located at some other location and the peripheral 2 located at some other location. And to show that's working, those are also the BRAMs. And this is connected with the stream interface is connected with the application IP currently, which is like fixed to float, and which perform the square root and then feed those back to the output. Okay, so now let us look at the design, our design in the Vivado. So this is my Microblaze processor. Oh, sorry, this is my Microblaze processor, and it is connected with its interconnect. And this is my AXI DMA, which is configured into the scatter gather mode. So if we click on this and see the property, scatter gather mode is enabled. And also you can see the MAXI SD port is there, which is the scatter gather port for this, which is used to read the BD rings from the memory location. And the AXI light port, which is used to configure this AXI DMA. Here we also look that our Microblaze is connected with the M0AXI port to this common BRAM storage element. So this current storage element is used to store those BD ranks. So my processor Microblaze, what it does is it provides those information in the BRAM through this M01AXI port and configure the DMA to read those from with the help of scatter gather port. Then my AXI DMA does is with the help of AXI scatter gather port, it reads those information about the BD ranks and perform the transaction. So here if we look, our MAXI memory map to stream port is connected with a BRAM, so which is acting like a peripheral 1, and my stream to my second memory map port, the stream to memory map is connected to the second peripheral, which is a BRAM and acting like a second peripheral. And our master MAXIS port stream to memory mapped is connected to my float IP, fixed to float IP, and which is connected with the square root IP. So this is like a processing IP. There can be any other IP which can be used for different functionality. So currently we are using the square root operation, and which is later connected with my stream AXI S stream to memory map port. Let us look at the our C code which is running on our processor. So these are the initial AXI DMX structure and the configuration structure. So the AXI DMX structure, if we look into this, so has the information about the BD rings. So these are going to store about the BD rings. So if we look about this structure, it has several information. So if you see, this is the first physical BD address and the last physical BD address. This tells about the total ring size of a ring in bytes. Then these are the free head, pre-head, and this tells about the count. So basically, as we earlier said, the number of total allocatable BD in the free group will be told by this free count, and later we represent the in the pre-work group, this after the allocation of the BD, this pre-count will be increased. Similarly, the all count variable looks means the number of possible total possible allocatable BD, and this check for the if we are using the DMA in the cyclic mode. So what does cyclic mode means is my when my tail is completed, it goes back to my the head descriptor and continues the process. So we do the initial configuration in our code and look for the that scatter gather mode is enabled or not. Then we perform the transmission setup. In that, so first of all we create a pointer for my AX at DMA, and then we disable the ring interrupts. Then we assign the collapse value to 1 and the delay to be 0. Then later what we does is we look for the possible BD counts that can be allocated for the given address. So here my TXBD space high space is my memory based address. So this memory based address is my where my the base address of my DRAM controller, and the base high address is my the the last value of the last address of the DRAM. So it gives me the total allocatable BD count. So now we fill these values to my TX BD ring descriptor. So we are going to put the address space, the base address, and my total BD count which is possible. So now we use the BD clear to perform the clearing of the necessary field, which will allocate them to be 0, and we cloning. What cloning does is this will copy the BD template in my TX ring to all the BDs in the free group. So now this AX and DMA BD ring sets the control register. So it set the 1 in the control register and the halt bit to be 0 in the status register in this scatter gather register space. So now let us look like how the sending of these the data which will take place from the my P1 with the help of my DMA. So we use this AX at BD ring. Currently we are using single BD. So what it will does is it will add the BD in the free group to the pre-process group. So now we have to specify the buffer base address, basically from where my data from where my data needs to be transferred. So this will take place from the base address of the my peripheral 1. So peripheral 1 has the same address of my BRAM So that's why it is directly taken here and pass that to the buffer descriptor variable, and later we set the length for this transfer. So currently it is a 5 packet transfer of size 4 byte in a single BD. So now we are transferring only a single data packet. So we set the start of the frame and the end of the frame for the BD, and finally we give this BD to the hardware so that DMA can perform the data transfer. Finally, if we want to check the status of the BD and have to free it, so we use the AXI BD ring bring from hardware. So what it does is this waits till I get the pre-count process BD count value until it is 0, and as soon as it goes out blue, it frees that BD ring. So now let us look at the waveform in the waveform window. So this is my master M0AXI port, which is going to write in my shared DRAM about the BD rings. So as we look here, this is the writing is taking place, and the later on this information will be read by the DMA with my master AXI scatter port. So if we look here, it reads about the information from where it has to take the data. So if you look this is same as the initial base address of my peripheral 1. Sorry, it is the address of the from where I am reading, and it is here is my information about the BD ring. So here if you see, this is stating my initial address of my peripheral 1 where my data is written. So my peripheral 1 is my ROM, which is having values 2, 3, 5, 10, 4, which are used while the data transfer, 5 transfers. So if we look more here, so this is master MM2 S port. So basically my peripheral 1 via peripheral 1, yeah, my peripheral 1 from where I have to read the data. So if we zoom here, we can look the 2, 3, 5, 10 and 4 are read here, and this is my last signal showing that my 4th is the last value. And if we look the other signal, so then this is being passed to the this has to be passed to the my fixed to float IP. So with the help of MAXI stream port of my DMA, this is going to be passed to my floating point IP. So here you see this is being passed 2, 3, 5, 10, 4, and this is my last signal. Finally, my square root IP is going to perform the square root operation on these data. So after, like, see here this is completed, and here my square root IP start performing the operation, so which is working fine. So the square root of 2, square root of 3, and square root of 5, square root of 10, square root of 4, and this is the last signal and the T valid signal. And then finally this is going to be transferred via stream to memory mapped with the help of SAXI port. So these data are going to be transferred to my peripheral 2. So this is the operation how BD rings were transferred. Information BD rings information was transferred into the my BRAM, and the information was read by my DMA with the help of scatter gather port, and the processing was done. Thank you.